This is the Bridge 99, reaching out to Jamaicans all over the universe, bringing us together, bringing us home, so we can tell you the news, give us our views, hear from you. This is Public Eye and the Open Mind. I'm Ronnie Thwaites, the Honourable Pearnel Charles Sr. is with me, and we're going to talk Jamaican issues today. Please join us, and please call us if you will. The WhatsApp and text line is 876-551-5782. And the studio line is 876-676-4996. Tony Rebel introduces the conscious music. Nicky Z follows with the exciting music. Pearnel and I offer the trenchant lyrics in between. So there we go. This is the Public Eye for Wednesday, April the 6th. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Ronnie.
Happy to be with you. The issues of the day, we're going to let you lead on them today, but of course, in everybody's mind is this issue to do with the Commonwealth, the upcoming Commonwealth Secretary General. I'm not sure I see a lot of significance there, but we can share it. Of course, there's a big question about the rebound of the tourist industry, which is so good to hear. The mayhem for traffic in Jamaica, and of course, our distress, economic, social, moral, about the continuing terrible conflict in Ukraine, which outrages us all. Can we help make sure we have proper audio going through today? Thanks for being with us on the Public Eye. Pearnel, what do you think about the public's respect for the police force?
Well, as I told you some time ago, I have both fear, love, and respect for the police. What a combination of that. The fact is that my father served as a district constable for some 40 years. I recall when he should resign or retire, they say he could stay there for a while. Those days.
And he served for many, many years.
40 years he served for.
Wow. Now, if that is the case, you have police blood in your DNA, or police DNA in your blood. Law and order is important. Discipline. The police are the spinal column of that in any society. So I've heard about the love. Then what about the fear and the respect?
Well, let me tell you something, Ronnie. In the first instance, I think that we have not been cooperating with law and order. As a result of that,
why?
It makes a burden for those who are out there trying to keep us orderly.
So I always stress you to go one step behind a true statement like that. Why are we not a law-abiding and orderly people, Mr. Charles? Why do you think?
I would prefer you to ask and answer that, since you have been blessed with wearing the cross on your chest.
Every time he refers to my status as a clergyman.
But Ronnie, listen. The fact is, it must be frustrating, and to a policeman who stands on the corner. He has been advised that Parliament has passed a law that all persons riding a motorbike must wear a helmet. Not only legal now, but for your protection, life and your property. As is, if there are 40 motorbike riding on the Washington Boulevard, maybe 6 or 7. Those who are going to distribute food have on a helmet. And they pass the police. I guess that the police is saying, what the hell? Just what can I do?
Stop them and insist that they get a helmet. Take them back to the police station and say your bike will remain here until you come back with the helmet.
Yeah, well, let's take another one. The police is saying there's a crash every day and people are dying. Like you know what the little things are.
Right.
They say if you are wearing your seatbelt,
right,
you are likely. In fact, they even put a statistics that 90% of those who wear seatbelt, the seatbelt assists them to live 10%, it
sure, it protects
the opposite, right? But people, when the police say wear the seatbelt, everybody started wearing seatbelt, and they just stopped wearing seatbelts.
Really?
And when you just drive and look on the road, drive and look, how many people wearing a seatbelt? Tell me how many people in a taxi wear a seatbelt.
Right. So why is that, sir?
The question must be put to somebody who have been religiously trained. Because
Jamaica's diluting.
A man would say, boy, only God can tell.
Okay, let's go back. Jamaica is diluting religion. So I hope religion can help to inculcate good values, but it's not certainly as strong as it used to be. One. Two, but notwithstanding that, my view is that the situation that you are describing is entirely predictable when we know that certainly 1/3 and maybe more of all people operating vehicles, including taxi drivers in this country, have never passed a driving test.
Well,
they buy the license, Mr. Charles, you know it. And many of them, too, are drive in circumstances and in a context where the judgment is compromised by rum and boom, or by the spliff that you see in their mouth, or by a kind of economic pressure, which means that if they don't get through and bring in the $15,000 for the day, they're going to go home hungry.
I can't blame the police for stopping somebody and they present the police with a license. Right? I don't know that the police say, here's a book, read it.
Yeah.
I don't think that the police go.
No, but we can do something about it at an earlier stage, can't we?
That what?
We can do something about that at an earlier stage.
Well,
why is it that in every parish, every day, judges in a traffic court have cases before them of careless driving and dangerous driving, and they impose a fine if the offender is found guilty, and there is never any requirement for retraining. There's never any requirement to determine whether that person is of suitable mental and psychological character to drive a vehicle. We are responsible for the situation on the road, Mr. Charles.
Well, the parliamentarians, in presenting what are the rules under which you get a license, need to go back to the drawing board. They are going every day to amend. And I think that you would not oppose to them saying to the judges, when somebody come before you, send them to the arena to do a training,
which they
and
pay
get
for,
a paper and bring back to me on such and such a day that you can drive.
Absolutely, sir.
You would not oppose that.
Oppose? I would support it.
Okay. Well,
if you did that, then part of that would be an assessment of the person and a riveting in their minds that something as elementary as a seatbelt is necessary. And that if you were really going to be a public passenger vehicle driver, you would have to be engaged. You'd have to make sure that your passengers always had on one. In other words,
yes. In other words, if the law was being put forward, people would be fearful of it, or they would accept it and do it.
Mindful of it, yes.
Well, let me give you another one. I'm driving on the western part of Kingston yesterday.
Yes, sir.
And I am not going to be deliberate in pointing out the traffic, the buses at the time. There are some buses who don't drive on the side of the road.
No, sir. You're right.
There's 20 or 30 vehicles before.
Yeah.
And there nobody come, no one or two vehicles coming down.
On the right hand side.
And they pass everybody.
Yes, sir.
Going up, in and out on the sidewalk.
Yes, sir.
And come down.
Yeah. Tell you better. I've seen.
I tell you what, one last one.
Yeah.
Mullins Road.
Yes, sir.
Where I drive often.
Yeah.
I wonder if I were a policeman, I could give out 20 tickets every evening.
Yes, sir.
Where is the police?
Same as myself sometimes. This business about driving on the wrong side of the road,
Yes.
I have seen a minister of government's entourage doing that, with sirens blaring on Tom Redcombe Avenue, and I can state the date and the time if necessary. We are three sets of people are immune from the traffic law, and because of their immunity, they are teaching a profound lesson to the rest of us in the country.
Well,
one is police, who are always on with the flashing lights and the siren.
Yeah.
When they must be going somewhere. There must be every emergency every time I see one. Two, the taxi people. Many of them. We're generalizing. There are exceptions. And three is the politicians. Why?
Well, somebody is going to say that you just start this argument for me to put my case before you. I had an accident 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Only to find out that the policeman who was riding so fast that he couldn't control the right to stop was leading a funeral.
Well, no. Okay.
No, I didn't know that a funeral have the same authority
was exempt from
to travel 10 times the speed through all the lights.
Oh, Lord.
You know, of course, I didn't say the person come through a light, but having that he couldn't stop.
But then
and all the vehicle come and saying that he came across the road to hit me.
Yeah, well, look at that. But then you see, sir, there is an issue, because in my view, this is not just some kind of bad behavior. This goes to a deep personality issue, a moral issue that we have to face in our society. And it is this, that we believe that I must get through no matter what happens to the rest of people. If I need to get through with my hearse behind me because I'm in a hurry to go somewhere to bury the dead.
Well, I'm going to agree with you on one thing.
Man like Charles must come out of my way.
I'm going to agree with you on one thing.
Right.
That there are too many different types of us operating under the same law differently.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is quite simple. Maybe if nobody had the authority to climb the sidewalk,
right, nobody should.
Then nobody would.
Yeah, well.
But if some people see some people climbing the sidewalk, going down the wrong road,
and get through.
Motorbike inside, man said, what the hell, who them?
Yeah.
So me too.
Sure.
So I have no problem with that.
But then I have a question for you. Because if that is the case, how do you correct that situation on a societal basis? Do you simply put more police out there? Do you train people in a different way? How do you instill values of conformity, not rigidity, but conformity on something as basic as the road? Because it's not only the roads, Mr. Charles. I am saying to you, sir, that the road is emblematic of the rest of the society.
It's not only Jamaica that happens, though,
Even if it is not.
All over the world.
Yes, fine.
There are certain standards that, in other words, the commissioner of police would not be expected to travel at 2 miles an hour up the road, or the police cars.
Why?
Because the police...
If they're on emergency.
The police...
And the fire and the ambulance.
The ambulance.
If they're going on an emergency, I understand.
Emergency.
And I pull over. But every drive I drive, if I'm commissioner of police, can be an emergency. And therefore, I must follow the rule. And I teach somebody.
The rule is that the commissioner of police, the minister,
is exempt from the traffic law.
Led by a siren.
Yes, sir.
Has the same authority. I mean,
well, I never
privilege.
had that. As a minister, I never had that privilege, and I never wanted it.
You never took it.
Never wanted it.
Well, I told you already, I lie down in the back of the car. I feel bad. I don't want nobody to see me.
This man, hey, bridge audience, watch this man.
Ronnie, the truth is this, that when you sit down,
he's exciting this room.
Half an hour in that line.
Yes, sir.
And see some politician.
A soup
coming up. Yeah. And the other side, and everybody have to take bank for them. Sir. For the policeman standing back and moving in. Move. Because somebody is coming.
Yes, sir.
I know how that feel.
So you mustn't do it. They mustn't do it.
I know how it feels. So I'm seeing it now.
Yes.
And I said, that used to happen. I tell you the truth. I can't believe that I used to do that.
No, but you see, it's a frame of mind, a frame of mind that says that my position, my authority, yes, doesn't place me above other people in terms of my rights. What it does is to endow me with particular responsibilities. Yes, and that's a completely different mindset. The former Prime Minister, the Honorable Bruce Golding, used a phrase once that is of great significance. He referred to himself, persuasively or not, as the chief servant. Remember?
Yes.
That is what he is.
Yes.
A chief servant, yes, does not lord it over those who he is serving.
No, well, I didn't agree with him on that.
Oh, you didn't? Why? No, that's bad news.
No, but no.
That's bad news.
Yes, if you wanted me to tell you a lie?
No.
Well, I'm telling you
I
the
want
truth.
you to tell me the reason for
I
you.
didn't agree with him when he says, Ronnie Thwaites, Minister of Education,
Right.
and he has to go to Parliament, and the line is going to go in the line is going to take an hour. Yeah. He was late.
No, emergency. That's a different thing.
And he's chief servant, so he's to stay behind all the servants.
No. In a circumstance like that, then you say he needs preference because what? He's going on a mission that is going to exercise or where he's exercising his service.
Going on a mission. That requires emergency.
Sure, and is consistent with his position as chief servant.
I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah, but if he's going to the beach and he will just show off.
No.
Yeah, no way.
No.
Yes, or going to check, somebody.
One minister went to the beach and his security was also swimming and they'd steal his
Don't tell me. No, but it's important, because are we in Jamaica really interested in an equitable and egalitarian society?
Before you get that answer, before you finish this, I want to bring to your attention what I consider almost, very serious.
Right.
In Kingston, thousands and thousands of cars are now buses and cars and trucks. The road that 2 or 3 years ago, everybody would say, we can go early.
Yes, highway.
And the Prime Minister's presentation added up how much production we had saved by making new roads in Barbican, new roads in Constant Spring, bridge down there, and all of us are traveling fast.
Sure.
Running. Don't allow 4:30 to 5:30 to catch you.
No.
Because it's 2 hours from Crossroad to Reddy's Bottom.
Exactly, sir. Exactly.
Why? Thousands and thousands of cars taking up all the new roads that has been built.
Sure.
In 2.5 years.
Sure. No, and do we have the honesty and the foresight and the humility to say to ourselves we have made some wrong investments and that we are continuing to make them more? I got some cussing for a writing I did last week when I pointed out that we were spending our savings or capital. The most precious thing in any economy is domestic savings, because it's not something borrowed we have to pay back. It's not something beholden that somebody from abroad send and give it. It's our savings. It's the surplus value of our labor. The credit unions who have been for the black Jamaican, yes, the unprivileged, not unprivileged Jamaican worker, yes, the access to the formal financial system, are spending the majority, are investing the majority of our savings to finance care.
Yes, but Ronnie.
No, they say people want it.
I had this discussion off the air in another place. And somebody said, because such as you have a car,
yes. Man, I expect
your wife have a car too,
yeah, man,
yes.
Cool.
And your daughter, if you have a car, yes.
You talk.
Your son, so you have 4 cars in the family.
Man. So you want me
and we only have one, and you want us to stop.
No, what I want to do, and I will put down my car if you have a proper transportation system. Yes?
Right.
No, seriously. Every developed society
a proper transportation system requires proper road.
Yes, sir, which
we have.
Proper
training, driving training.
Which we could have.
Proper, all of these things.
Yes, sir. Proper capital.
Policing.
Proper capital, which we are spending $8 billion every year to inadequate system for JUTC. as we have talked about.
So we had the buses, but nobody taking them.
Well, why people weren't taking them? Because we give it the franchise
but
to
why
everybody
would I want
else.
to take a bus if I can buy if I can get a car, pay down on a car, 0%?
Well, this is the whole point. But who is making that possible?
The bank is making.
The bank and the credit unions.
No, because you're going to, Mr. Honey says prosperity.
That's not prosperity.
But if a man can buy a car now, who couldn't buy a donkey 10 years ago?
No, indeed, sir, he has stepped up in life. I
step up in life of a bicycle to a car.
I recognize that. But at the same time, when you look beyond the individual and you look at the broader social context, it is unsustainable. You want any more evidence than having to pay gasoline at a rate of $100 per barrel? How much more evidence you want to that? Only per car can't move now. Only of abuse taking place. Taxi man who should be following the law according to the fare schedule. Him can't do that. Why? Because I have to pay more for the gas every time he approach a pump.
Him can't follow the law to charge $100.
No, sir.
So him make his own law.
So,
but then when you turn around, if the government of Jamaica,
right,
any government, PNP or JLP government, put $1, $100, $1 on tax on gas. War.
Well,
last week gas went up $4.
Don't I know?
And nobody say anything.
Well, why? You think it's because they love it, or because because it's okay?
Because that's Ukraine and Russia.
Yes, sir. And it don't go up yet.
No, it don't.
No, seriously,
it don't. I like how you put it, like my grandmother. It don't go up yet. No. But it's not a laughing matter.
No.
What we're talking about is that you can call it's a national crisis.
When we have a crisis of production, we want GDP to grow. We want personal incomes to grow. We want unemployment to expand. How can we spend the quantity of credit that we have, our savings? How can we invest that? Yes, in consumer durables, which by their nature are deteriorating and which depend for their very usefulness on a product which is escalating in cost and diminishing in supply. How?
Well, you'd have to restrict the freedom that we have, and you're not in favor of restricting the freedom.
Yeah.
In other words, a man who is not paying his children money to go to school, yet he gets loan from the bank to buy a car.
Yeah.
He is not even working.
Yeah.
So him park the car and drive around at evening time and him block up the road and him this and that. If you say anything to him, him ask you if you don't have a car.
Yes, sir. I heard you the first time, and the fact of the matter is that it's a very valid argument, but it cannot answer the greater.
So how do you instruct that? How do you, as a government,
look here,
instruct people to restrict what they call their own freedom?
No, freedom
and survive politically.
Hello, sir. You're back again. No, the Reverend, no, Honorable Pearnel Charles is back. How can you secure his political loyalty? When we come back from the break, let's talk about how political decisions ought to be taken in respect of scarce circumstances like foreign exchange, like other instances over which we have little control. This is the public eye and the open mind. You won't find discussion like this elsewhere in the media. You know, we're beaming out to the diaspora. We're going to bring in the diaspora representative who is doing good things in Jamaica later on. Stay tuned. Wherever Jamaicans grow, that's where the public eye is on the Bridge 99. Pearnel Charles and myself talking about some very important things, talking about individual freedoms and the common good and the balance that needs to take place. You're going to tell me a story.
And I wish you to laugh. Don't take it. Don't take it. I live at the top Red Hills.
Yeah.
And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 roads that finishes at the foot of Red Hills.
Right.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 two-lane roads. And so In the evenings, it will take you 2 hours between Reddy's Road and the surrounding to pass.
Wow.
Because of the indiscipline.
Yeah, everybody chalk up.
Everybody joke up, as I'm saying, because there's no light.
No.
It cannot be managed by light.
Yes.
So I am coming this evening. I said, but you know something wrong. So I park my car. I come out and stand up in the middle of the road. I say, you stop.
You're police.
We are police, you know. I do that several times. You come. And running within an hour.
Everybody
went through.
Yeah, man, half the time.
So I went home. My daughter called me and said, Daddy, you have a problem, you know. What happened? Somebody called and asked, is your father all right? So why? So I saw him directed traffic. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's mad.
Mad.
So I call the superintendent of police. I said, Soup, I'm not mad. I just believe that
if you do that,
I have to serve. I have to serve.
Sure.
That's my job. The police asked me not to go back the next day because they would be there.
Okay.
Ronnie, hear the joke. The police say, stop, come, stop. My daughter says, one of her friends telephoned her and said, somebody said, bring back Pearnel. Oh, not taking too long. So what happened though?
Yeah.
And I'm so proud. I want to congratulate the superintendent of police. I forget his name. I would like to call him. And the policemen. They now just have to come at the foot of Reddy with a car, stop at the gas station, flash the light, and
order will come.
Order.
Yes, but
people are going home easy, but no crashing, no backing up.
So what does that say to you? It says to me that we are not a disordered criminal people who have to be locked up for ages and do all kinds of draconian things too. That if we are just given some resolute and stern direction, we will try and
two good words:
comply.
Resolute and stern. Yeah, but because the presence of the police.
Okay, well, let me joke you with one now.
Yes.
Because now we learned over the weekend, many of our diaspora listeners may not have heard, that over $200 million have been collected in fines for the disaster mitigation legislation, okay? For no wear mask and social distancing and gather when you shouldn't, etc. Over 200 million. We know some people went to jail because they couldn't pay the fine, okay? And yet ministers of government turn up for Mrs. Shensonia's album release, yes? And are seen in circumstances which at the time, it has now been relaxed, was contrary to the DMRA, as it is called. I did not know something, that the Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, was a police officer or a judge. No, not an officer, a judge, because he gets up in Parliament. The same Parliament that passed the DMRA will lock up people on the street side. Okay? And he says the following minister shall contribute $100 to the charity of their choice. Mr. Charles, that is ridiculous.
No, well, let me do the opposite. Because the police didn't lock them up.
Yeah.
Right? Because the police didn't charge them.
It means a court of appeal.
No. At least he did something.
Listen to me.
Randy, remember.
Bridge 99 audience.
But you have to remember, Randy, that my profession is a negotiator.
No, in this more than that. In this age of republicanism, but we should give Mr. Pearnel Charles the title of Queen's Counsel. Not Queen Counsel. He's a very good advocate.
No, but I think
for lost causes.
I think that no other minister is going to get himself exposed and be, I don't want to say charged, be required to give to, contribution to.
Fun and joke aside.
How do you? It could have been done another way.
How do you possibly justify that?
I am not trying to.
Yeah.
Next item.
Yeah, but you see that people hear this, they understand it, they feel a way when they see that, and they decide that, boy, if that can happen, then I can do what I want. I will just get
these
through.
are the weaknesses in the system we must not explore.
No.
And I agree with you.
Yes, that's the important thing. And one of the major issues is right now, to go back to where we started this discussion, is the public distrust of the police and the public contempt for many aspects of order. It's all well and good for the Commissioner of Police to tell us yesterday that over 200 firearms have been recovered since January. Thank God, that's good. But you can't stop there. Where did those firearms come from? How many more, if you recovered that many, how many more come into the country?
But I am aware of that.
Well,
I am aware of that.
So where we don't get those answers to?
Ronnie, let's discuss that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a man who is talking right now in the bar.
Yeah.
Say, but Mr. Thwaites, say, the man them carry ganja go out to the sea, and Haitian man take the ganja and give them gun.
I hear that too many times because
I hear that so many times.
For the amount of time I hear that.
Hold on.
You don't hear them.
You don't hear diaspora people vex with some of their relatives at home who come say, listen, don't send no more food. Send me money if you buy a gun. But let us localize that. Right? Why would a woman who love her son say, listen, them going to trouble your school, may I put the knife in your bag to protect yourself? Why would she do that?
Because she doesn't have any confidence in the systems in the school or on the street that is going to protect her son.
Is it that she don't have any confidence? Or intellect is one that lead her into that?
Well, whichever. The fact
but she want to protect her son.
But she's telling that she in the noble quest of a mother wanting to protect her son.
Right.
She's teaching him a lesson, Mr. Charles.
Which is wrong.
Pernicious for the child and disastrous for the society.
And
we have to think straight.
Do you think that mother who know that she put her scissors in the girl bag, that if anybody trouble her, she can use it to protect herself? She don't think that the police is going to stop that person. Find them with a weapon, charge them, take them to court, and put them in prison. Artist that she's trying to, she wants to kill somebody, sir. But just wants to protect herself. I don't want the boy for
But there's something, I always try to take you back to the base. Her reasoning is because she of a fundamental lack of confidence, distrust in the instrumentalities of law and order in the society. She doesn't believe that there's any other way that her daughter can be protected than doing something as drastic and risky as that.
I could not oppose to that. I cannot oppose to what you have just said, except to say every one of us can say that. And if every one of us say that, what's going to happen to the society?
Yes.
Every one of us can say, look here, drive on the left side of the road. And when somebody coming on the right side, they say, you shouldn't have to. Everyone going to say, you, Mr. Charles, you have a license. And me no have no license. And me can get one to buy and get a work. And me can drive good, but me can't read.
What's behind that now? Behind that is a notion that what is of supreme importance in human life is that I get through. Not whether all of us get through. Yes?
And you're right on that.
Yes.
It's I.
It's me.
It's I. I and I. I and I want that. I and I must get this.
I want it. No, sir. That's it. That is the addition of the modern, the last 20 years. Don't tell me about Mr. Charles in North Clarendon or Mr. Thwaites in Central Kingston. Don't tell me what you did for me 5 years ago. I want it now. And if you don't give me no, you know what?
Well,
and we contribute to that system because we do not teach our children, we do not teach ourselves the limitations of personal freedom without some reference to the common good. And a virtue, which is a very difficult virtue, but is so critical, called self-restraint, You can't have a society without self-restraint. And we have some people in government who believe that the only way you restrain people is to lock them up, bust their head, and put them in prison.
But go back to the Yaad business.
Yes, sir.
There is Mr. Brown
Right, sir.
on the left, Mr. Clark on the right. Mr. Brown teaches his children to be disciplined, in other words, have manners, respect.
Yeah, true. Problem.
And the other man outside.
No, they go beast.
Well, hold on. Maybe he doesn't have the intellect
Yes, sir.
to do that teaching.
Uh-huh.
So we have a negative and a positive
Yes,
in
sir.
the society that cause a problem.
Right.
Am I correct?
Yes.
So it's not going to go away easy.
No, but what we have to do is to accentuate the positive over the negative till eventually it overtakes it.
No, but
That's hard.
We have the court to help us. We have the police to help us.
Hardly.
We have the teaching to... No, we have a lot of people trying to make the positive side the bigger.
We do.
But the negative is overtaking us.
So, which makes me worried about my life and that of my generations to come and yours. Yes, and don't tell me before you say it. I'll say it because we're going to discuss it later on when we join Irie Jam in New York. But look at the way, look at the lesson that is being taught in those Senate hearings about Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yes, a woman of supreme qualifications for the job, but where there is this subliminal, spiritual, disastrous behavior where a group of old and younger white men believe that they must beat up a black woman. Yeah?
Yes.
And that them do, even though they know it is futile, and they admit in their own words that there is no basis for opposing her, and yet they do so. Is that innate human nature? No, it can't be. Those are learned things.
No. Ask a question again.
Yes.
And examine it.
Yeah.
It's not Jamaican alone.
No, but we do
it's
it
not
too.
Cuba alone.
No.
It's not China alone. It's the world.
Yeah, but I want structures of society that prevent that aberration.
Well, Ronnie,
I want the system.
I was pushing a man one time.
Yeah.
And him asked me if I two right hand me have.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean? He said me have a left hand and a right hand.
Oh, I see. On the one and on the other.
I said the right hand is always right, but the left hand is always wrong. No, but it sends something to me that we are training our children. Not all of us have the ability to train. Not all of those who have been trained, as I want to take the training. So we have to bring in the police, we have to bring in the courts, we have to bring in law to restrain those who did not take the training or those who have not believed that they must follow the positive.
And there are some who believe that you must go even further, because beyond the police and the law and the courts, you must kill.
Well, Ronnie, you said that, you say it lightly.
You hear a minister of government supporting the death penalty in 2021 and 22 in Jamaica? My God.
Who was that?
The Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, when she knows that is settled law, yes, from the very Privy Council, which we Jamaicans consider treat as our final court, yes?
That she said that she would like to go back to...
She says it's her personal opinion.
Yeah.
But a person who says that, it seems to me, I wish to question her mindset.
No, well, the way you have to say it to us who believe that, keep your personal opinion.
Well...
No, you can't...
But her personal opinion...
You can't object to me.
No, I don't... No, hold on, sir. I'm not saying that there's no right to say it, I am saying that you when you are in a position of influence... Yes? What you say...
Can influence...
has very great meaning.
Yeah, so you have to be...
King George VI said to Princess Elizabeth before he died, he said, the people will always remember what you say. Yes?
Yes.
So if you are defending life, if you are defending constitutionality, yes, in a situation where it is now settled on that particular point, yes, and you go and express something like that, and other things. She's reported as saying in a previous occasion that we will have to give up some of our rights in order to have social peace, or words to that effect. Yes.
Yeah, but a lot of
this is distressful.
But it comes back to
it's
you being the right.
Disqualifying.
It comes back to you being the right hand and she being the left in this instance, because there are thousands and thousands, millions who believe what she's saying.
But
it coming like the mother now,
but of
who
course.
put the scissors in her daughter's bag.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more, because you're talking about life. You're talking about the comparison.
Why would a mother give her daughter a scissors and the father give him a penknife?
Okay.
Why?
You think so they can
to do what?
So they can kill somebody in defense?
Well, to defend themselves, so they defend. No, stop. Going to stop.
No, it's very important.
So if you stab somebody in the neck, in what the big arch name?
I don't know what it calls. But
in other words, that one going to bleed you to death.
Clearly, sir. But there are clearly differences of degree, and the law itself makes provision for that. But the point I'm making is that we as a society, and you and I rate Jamaica so highly. Yes. The people we are talking to abroad similarly do so. It is a reason. Our nationality, our nationalism, in the good sense, is a major part of making us who we are and defining our values. Yes, we must stand up for things that are right, things that are beautiful. Philippians chapter 3, Mr. Charles. Things that are worthy, things that are noble, rather than things that are ignoble.
Tell the public that you are reading what we have just read, because both of us agree on it.
Yes.
Both of us agree on that.
Yes, sir.
But we accept.
And leadership has a tremendous role in this regard.
Yes, but we accept good leadership.
Yeah.
And with the belief of what we have just said,
right.
There is still a big force of the negative that works against that positive. Clearly. Constantly.
Yes.
And that is why we have to have prison.
Yes.
To restrict those.
I accept that. But that which is the exception cannot be made to the norm. What we have to do is to ensure that we are making those exceptions as limited as possible. And I really don't believe that we're doing this. If you did a survey of the mass media in this country and social media, all of the impulses that young people develop with, could you genuinely say, Honorable Pearnel Charles, that we are in fact using all of the mystical, marvelous means of education in a way that is most conducive to a peaceful, prosperous society? Could you really say that?
No, not could. Would you? I would not.
I would not.
Because,
either.
No.
And why not?
The reason is that I recognize, Ronnie, that there are many things that make up what you have just said.
Right.
It goes back to the mother.
Yes.
Who has not gone to school,
yes, sir.
Who has not been trained, she's not even going to church, that the pastor can help her to train the child.
What are we saying to those girls like that now? The girls who one principal tells me it's 4 times the number of girls that are this year, when they come back to school, left school or drop out for pregnancy than in a non-COVID situation. Circumstances fully understood, yes? Because idleness and so on. What are we as a country saying to them? Are we telling them, look here now, we need to really have a close discussion with all of you young women over the age of whatever it is.
Let me tell you what I'm saying to them, Ronnie.
Yeah.
I have advised schools that I am available.
Good.
To come and speak to their boys.
Mm-hmm.
I have passed through the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I have been burnt.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to get around the fire.
Yes, sir.
So that some of those boys don't have to go through the fire.
Yes.
I have also told them that I am privileged to sit with a man called Ronnie Thwaites.
Oh, Lord.
And that we can take a half an hour after lunch to speak to the children in school who have left school for 2 years. And, Ronnie, it is impossible. Don't care all the niceties that we're talking about. For 2 years out of school and out of proper training, And that's a proper train because this is where our teachers are.
Sure.
As bad as some are, they're better
than being outside.
Better than exactly. Sure. Right? So
okay, that's helpful.
Call us.
That's helpful.
We will take a half an hour after lunch to talk.
This is why I love some of the things that I see happening. When Champs going on again this week.
Yes.
That's wonderful, because that is an opportunity for collegiality, fraternity, for discipline, for healthy competition. These are the things that have been missing.
May I embarrass myself by telling you that a little story? I did not know.
Yeah.
As long as I've been around, 86 years.
Yeah.
I did not know the influence that sports
can have
until thus.
Yes. And
this pandemic has done. The children who have come out is as if they come out of prison.
Yes, but then you see, and it could be even more so, because if we insisted on more sport, proper competitive sport, discipline within sport, all of those things, we could even get a higher dividend than the one that you are noticing that we are finding out now. These are important things. I would love, for example, cultural expression. It will come up far, far away, but we need that has to become part of everybody's socialization. What are we doing? Yes, we are encouraging those same young girls and boys, alongside with the other efforts, to take up Bungla Gal, yes, and to encourage them that if they take off most of their clothes and twist up them bottom at a place called Carnival, that somehow this can improve their persona.
Some of the things that we have given to them have not helped, because, for example, the tablet. Yeah. The tablet would help them so much if it was being used in a positive way.
Have we told them how to use it?
Well, of course you explain. You have people from the Ministry of Education. You have teachers in the school.
You think if you're in China, you could have access to the kind of pornography that a Jamaican child has?
Rennie.
Or Cuba?
But let me ask you a question. Could the tablet come without the ability of the tablet to be used for pornography?
I don't know. Probably not.
Probably not. But
more
people are using it for that than for education.
But of course, so we have to. So what do? You don't give up the struggle. It's guidance. I want my Minister of Education, my Minister of Youth, and I bear some responsibility. I had some office there, so did you, in different fields. I want them to say, you are spoiling up yourself if that is what you do. Yes? You are making a mistake. Don't do it. Look at the wholesome things that you can do. Look at the things that make you laugh, make you enjoy, make you learn, make you discover. And we have the role of every leadership, including Ronald Thwaites and Pearnel Charles, yes, and everybody else, has to be to promote a positive liberty in this country.
Rodney, I hear a teacher just saying, would Mr. Charles and Mr. Thwaites come? Teacher, call us.
Yeah.
We are prepared to give you sometime, whatever part of Jamaica. We are prepared to come and say to, in other words, the thing with Ronnie Thwaites and me, one is a town boy, I was a country boy. And one is a bright boy, and one is a dunce boy.
Must be you. But they suppose we were to excite our diaspora audience, who we're taking a break now to connect with. Suppose we were to excite them and to say, these are the kind of standards. This is the kind of engagement. When you come home for convention this summer.
Yes.
Nobody stay in the tabernacle and sing until the Holy Spirit come. May the Holy Spirit carry out in the street, in the district. Yes.
It is particular where you come from.
Yes.
That district, down the country.
Yeah, Jesus found his best disciples where the tax collectors sat, and on the fishing beach, of course, and where the prostitutes were, he was there too. Yes, to me these are profound examples.
You hear what I wondered a while ago? What you say, Mr. Thwaites, that Jesus find them where?
Of course, where the prostitutes were.
Yeah, but Mr. Thwaites, if we go look for them there.
No.
We have a problem.
We have a walk with Pearnel and Ronnie, and we will. Thank you very much. This is Public Eye on the Bridge. We soon come back. This is exciting talk. Stay with us. Thanks for being with us on the Public Eye. This is Bridge 99 FM, linking now with our friends at Irie Jam Radio in the tri-state area of the United States.
All across the tri-state area. It is now time.
Hear that man, Beau-regard.
Bridge 99 FM, because on Wednesdays we do something called the Public Eye Open Mind, where I connect with the Reverend Ronnie Thwaites and Chief Pearnel Charles.
Hi.
Live inside the Bridge 99 FM studio. Let's make that connection right now.
How are you, sir? Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome home. We always,
it's always a pleasure.
Pearnel, you and I can always give these New York people, Connecticut and New Jersey people red eye, you know, by telling them welcome home.
Welcome home.
Yeah, man.
Always a pleasure.
I say it differently. Boy, come back a Yaad.
How about more come home?
want come home.
Listen, like on the language. Listen, Beau-regard, so good to be with you and to hear your audience reach out to you. That's why we do the Public Eye. That's why the bridge exists. Eh? So yes. we love the connection. What are some of the concerns about people? We're breaking our hearts in this country about the what is going on in Europe with the Ukraine and the killing of the children and the rape and murder, man. It's terrible, you know.
Yes, very, very, very terrible.
You Americans, you Americans have to get more tough than even you have been now. You know, we don't know what you're afraid of. What you're gonna make Russia win that one, sir?
Well, this was all up to Biden and the powers that be, his allies, NATO. In terms of what they wanted to do to help Ukraine. But, looking at it and from what we are seeing, it seems like it's not much they can actually do in terms of getting boots on the ground. It's all about sending weapons and letting the Ukrainians fight for themselves. That's what this war was about.
Yeah, but, I mean, the horrors are just increasing, aren't they?
Yes.
I mean, it is important for Jamaicans with our own crime problem, with our own problem of divisions. Because I really can't see the point of this war yet, you know.
Brother, we said this earlier, you know.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the worst has not come.
The worst has not come.
The worst is to come.
Oh, God.
Because you can't clean out a country, smash it up as it has been done, and expect that there's going to be a remnant of rebels.
Yeah.
So you're going to have problems.
Yes. Well.
You understand that?
Yes.
So it's another Taliban situation that is going to be in another country.
Yeah.
But I can't, where I share it with you, somebody must say to me, what is the war about?
Yeah.
What is the achievement of the winner?
How you see it, Beau?
Well, a lot of people are saying, and this is a consensus, that Russia basically wants back what was theirs. They're saying that land was Soviet Union land, Russian land, and a lot of Russians lived there.
Hey, brethren.
Russia just basically want back them land.
Hey, brethren. If the native Indians take up that land in America, you salt, you know. If the Tainos decides that I'm going to take back Jamaica because the land is theirs, where we go?
Yeah, but that Russia has the power and the force in which they're using to do so. A lot of people don't have that.
So might is right then.
No, it's not right. It's just the way in which it is. They're using they're bullying them in a sense. Then
yes, and that is the truth. And it is. There are two things. One, I think we have to react with outrage and with at what is taking place. We have to encourage the United States and NATO to give whatever help to the Ukrainian people we can. But we have to learn a lesson to ourselves that life is easy to take. It is much harder to preserve. And when we're not going that way ever and again, we have to learn something about our own lives, our own situation, don't?
Yes, we do. And also, some people are also having reservations when it comes to this whole war. A lot of people are, looking the other way because there's something on the Peace Corps website that was put out and said for volunteers who want to help in Ukraine, the website actually put up this information saying that possible considerations for African American or black volunteers is that people of color, they face many challenges living in the Ukraine, and that if they volunteer in the Ukraine, they should expect to be called monkeys and the N-word and things of that nature. I don't know how website was able to put that up, the Peace Corps, like basically saying, okay, you're going to go over there and help them, but this is what you're going to face. People are really and truly having reservations about Ukraine when it comes to helping. And just the fact that they know that there's the racism that's been shown all over the media since this war started, where people of color have been facing it in Ukraine, and then to see this up on the website now. If I could just take a few seconds to read exactly what it says. It said, "It is not uncommon for Ukrainians to refer to African Americans as the N-word. Volunteers of color may be called a monkey, or may see children's games with blackface. Being aware of the history of the humanization of people of African descent may help inform where this comes from. It does not justify it. It will be at your discretion to determine the intent." So they're saying that, you should accept this, and, there are ways that you should deal. They're not, basically it sounds to me like they're saying it's okay for the people them to do it because they have never seen a black person before. And I don't understand how they could have never ever seen a black person before. That's what the website says. It's up there right now on the Peace Corps website.
We certainly confuse ourselves.
That's where I differ from a lot of people.
Yeah.
When I see bombs being dropped in a hospital,
Yeah, man.
when I see bombs being dropped in a children's home, I don't look whether them is white picnic or black picnic.
Life, man.
I'm talking about lives.
Sure.
And the point is this. And remember, I tell you, I'm a political science student, and I'm proud about that.
Yeah.
I will tell you that the war don't start yet. The war don't start yet. Russia is mashing it up. But you are dividing several sets of people, volunteers and otherwise. Yeah. And then the outside world have to go and help them.
And let's go react. What a thought. Beau-regard, Pearnel Charles, we have a guest. We want to welcome Mr. Shayne Havens, president of the Josephine Lilly Wolfe Memorial Scholarship Foundation. Hello, Mr. Haynes. How are you? Welcome.
I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
We're fine, thanks. Thanks so much. May I introduce you to the Honorable Pearnel Charles. He's a veteran public servant in Jamaica. And to our friend Beau-regard and our listenership on Irie Jam Radio in the tri-state area. Mr. Haynes, tell us who Josephine Lilly Wolfe was, and how did you come into contact with her?
I had actually dated her mom from visits from Jamaica, and then they had come to the United States, and at that point, that's when I met Josephine. As her daughter. So she's not biologically my daughter, but I met her through her mother, a relationship that I had with her mother.
Yes.
We got married, and then at that point, I basically became her father. Biological meant nothing to me. Just once you meet Josephine or met Josephine, you'd understand where I'm coming from.
Yes.
This girl, she was 4 years old at the time, was
4 years old.
Amazing person.
Okay. And what happened to her?
In 2015, the last night of ATI in Negril, someone had actually broke into her house and shot and killed her off from Love Lane and off from the west end of Negril.
Oh Lord.
Yes, sir. That was my response.
Oh Lord. No motive, no reason, no outcome.
I honestly can't give you any reason. I mean, there's always speculation. As far as that goes, but I'm not going to speculate.
No.
I'll focus on the good part of what she brought to the world. Losing her was obviously traumatic. There was obviously a lot of grieving. There still is a lot of grieving, and I'm able to grieve through the foundation that I was able to set up. But the one thing that always helped me get through this was I truly know how she would have wanted me to go forward. I know that sounds a bit of a cliche, but I truly believe that, she was put on this earth for a reason, and she didn't want me to suffer. She would prefer that I go on with my life and try and do some good with it. And that's what I've channeled from when this happened.
Tell us about the foundation.
So the foundation was actually created in 2000. She was taken from me in 2015. And in 2016, I started having this idea of wanting to honor her And because her passion for learning and her passion for the Manning School in Savamar, what a way to honor her other than to provide a scholarship. And at that time, I had made a transition from the company that I was working for previously to the company that I'm working for now.
Yes.
And at that time, they were very influential to me in saying that I could do more. And anyone who knows the people that I work with, we've won several awards for our charitable give back programs that we've had with Legacy Restoration based in Minnesota. So conversation started. They told me to directed me, guided me into how I can do more. So I created a 501c3, which is tax forgiveness for people that actually donate.
A tax-free charitable corporation.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Became incorporated. It gives much more of a reputation of being a legit a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, just started. I got a lot of good people in my life that I'm associated with that have big hearts themselves. So fundraising has, I don't want to say it's been easy, but because it's always super hard, but I've been connected with some good people that have big hearts and help donate to this cause.
So you're offering a scholarship to who now? To a student at Manning's, is it?
Yes, all the students that actually that we provide scholarships for currently come from the Manning School.
Good.
And I got to make sure I get that right, because several times I've said the Manning's High School, and my students always chastise me, saying, "Sir, it's the Manning School."
I know. These people both say like anything, Pearnel. Yes, but
I want to make sure I get that in there for them.
But
so
no, it has very good reason. There's very good reason for it to carry that designation. Well, that's good. And
my daughter, I remember the day she called me and was so excited that she got accepted to go to the Manning School.
Yes.
And then I did a little research on it and found out how reputable it is.
It is.
So from that, we've got 11 total students that we've given out scholarships to.
Excellent.
We had our first graduate last year, and we were so honored. We actually flew her in to our annual golfing event, and she was able to speak, and I know she made an impact on the donors.
Great.
By showing up and actually speaking. She is a very well-spoken person.
Where are you based? What part of the United States?
I'm from Minnesota, in the Twin Cities area, we call it.
That's great.
So that's where we're located. But I actually, to get my fundraiser, my company is national. I've worked nationally with some other companies, and I do get people from Chicago, Denver, some other locations that will fly in just for the golf tournament. It's quite an event.
That's good. How can persons from Jamaica and the diaspora listening to us assist with donations to the foundation and therefore funding some of these well-deserved scholarships, Mr. Havens?
Well, we do have a website currently right now. I mean, the only way that I would say that Jamaicans can help right now is obviously pray for what we're doing. The second would be that we do have a website that you can donate financially, cash-wise.
I think people would like to know the website address. Can you give it to us?
Yeah, it is Jlw Msf.org. And that stands for the Josephine Lilly Wolf Memorial Scholarship.
Josephine Lilly Wolf Memorial Scholarship Fund. Foundation. JLWMSF.org.
Yes, sir. And I do want to say something on that. My goal is, to actually run fundraiser in Jamaica in the future. And I've told people this before, and I don't know if I got a pipe dream going, but I would love to run a music festival someday and get, some of my favorite artists who are really passionate about their country in Jamaica would be like Chronics or Coffee or some of those types of artists.
Wait, your man is very, very up to date. Tell me something, though. I'm anxious to know, Shayne Havens. What brought you to Jamaica in the first place? You sound like an American who was falling in love with us, and we'd like that,
Honestly, my company that I used to work for back in 2002 took us on a company trip to Negril, And from day one, man, I just love the place. I mean, what a beautiful country. What a beautiful. I mean, Negril is my favorite spot.
But
I mean,
but you did more than just enjoy the beach and the company retreat. You seem to have shared some of your bloodline with us.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I've made so many friends there.
Really?
I just got back from Jamaica, as a matter of fact. You know, about 3 weeks ago, I went down to visit my current wife, her family.
Yeah.
And you know, visit. You know, I go down there about 3-4 times a year, and I'm actually have scheduled to get back down there at the end of May to do interviews for some new students. I'm hoping to give out at least one, if not two more scholarships this current year coming.
Great.
To bring our total to 13.
Do want to
say,
yes.
I do want to say this because this is important, that, you know, the goal of this was to help out social wise in Jamaica, because I'm heartbroken about, I heard you guys talking about this earlier, but I'm heartbroken about the corruption, the crime, and the violence that goes on in Jamaica. Since my loss of my daughter, I mean, I personally know 6 to 8 other people that I personally knew in that neighborhood that have been taken from us, you know, in tragic, you know, gun violence.
Yeah.
So there's a couple requirements that I didn't touch on earlier, but the students that we choose are not going to be funded to go to the United States or any other country. So our goal is for that student to attend a Jamaican university and ultimately, you know, find employment in Jamaica and give back to Jamaica itself. I'm not looking to fund people to get out of Jamaica.
Yes.
I'm looking to fund people that can help Jamaica.
That's interesting.
Yes, sir.
That's very interesting.
And I do want to say, I got, you know, I mean, these are full ride tuition, dorm, books if needed.
Yes.
We currently have 2 lawyers. We have a student that's studying medicine and surgery.
Wonderful.
Our graduate last year was from business management. We have an actuary.
Yes.
Human resource
out of
management.
all of this. Well, that is amazing. Now, what if, Mr. Charles, Mr. Beau-regard, what if more people, albeit we hope that they wouldn't have to react to a tragedy like Shayne is, but suppose that was an element of our tourism trade. Suppose that was a way in which our diaspora, even more than they do now, were to react to us. Jamaica would be a different place, wouldn't it? Yes? We would be able to fund education. We would be able to engage our students. And I love the emphasis that Shayne says. These are for people who are to be educated and trained and work in Jamaica. Yes? You can't force that, but that certainly has to be an objective and an intention of the effort, eh?
That sounds like the beginning of what we are talking about, first reparation.
Yes, well, you can see it in that way, but it is vitally important that we can do it. Shayne, hence, do you think you'll be able to keep this going? Do you intend for this to be an ongoing, long-lasting venture, foundation?
Well, I'm fortunate enough to have good people that I've been associated with, that I've put around myself from the foundation. So that's the goal. My goal, again, you heard me say I want to fundraise in Jamaica. My goal someday would be to build a community center, whether it's in Sablamar, Negril, or some area around in Jamaica, that we can actually hopefully hit students before they get to high school and them along that way. I also do want to say that no one from the foundation takes any pay. This is 100% volunteer.
Right.
All money goes to the students, other than our costs.
And I hope that there's a standard. They have to maintain a certain academic and social standard in order to continue.
Yes, sir. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because they do have requirements that they do have to meet in order to keep the scholarship. And with that being said, when you talk about the future, they are the future of the Jlw Msf. I'm a bit older than they are, so my goal would be to pass it off to them.
Indeed.
in the future, and then they can take over the presidency. And
really, no, that's that. I love that too. You're not hanging on to the thing but as your own personal possession. You're the initiator, and you're able to. Josephine was a catalyst. You are the initiator, and now you want to make sure that there is succession and continuity to it all.
Yes, sir. That was beautifully put, because a lot of people give me credit for this, and I don't. The person driving this is purely Josephine. Anyone who knows who Josephine was would know that she's the driving force behind this, not me.
Well, you know.
Are you in connection with the rest of diaspora executives?
Yes, because the diaspora, there are people in the diaspora who are engaged. For example, the Manning's Alumni Association is well known. I'm hoping that they may hear and that they can reach out to you at the website you've given, you know.
Yes, because
sir.
Yes.
What I think is very important in your presentation is the fact you're training people in Jamaica, are training people for Jamaica. Yeah. And this is one of the objectives that I think that the diaspora could really, really get in.
Sure.
Because they have escaped the poverty here. They're in a better time to help train Jamaicans in Jamaica to create wealth here. Rather than abroad.
Well, you know, that's important. But what I'd like to say is, as we part, Shayne, here's a tragedy that should never have taken place, that is disgraceful and embarrassing to all of us as Jamaicans. And yet, out of that tragedy, so much good and so much spiritual energy and benefit is coming. We commend you for good work, so we're glad to meet you, and we encourage people to get in touch with you at the Jlw Msf.org Foundation. Thanks again for your service to our people and for the bright memory of Josephine. Take care.
Thank you, sir, for having me, and you guys enjoy your day.
All the best. Good. Shayne Havens, president of the Josephine Lilly Foundation, Josephine Lilly Wolf Memorial Scholarship Foundation. That's the kind of spirit we want to see between people who fall in love with Jamaica. You know, I always introduce this program not only for Jamaicans, but people who love Jamaica. And he's one such.
Yes.
Come here, find a lady, love the people, get a daughter, and then this, and doesn't turn away from it because of the horror of the violence of her unmerited, unprovoked death, but rather continues to use her memory to lift up numbers and numbers of young people. There's virtue in that, you know, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, but Ronnie, as you said, that there's so many.
We have to take a break. We're told we can come back and understand this more in a while. So come. Thanks for being with us on the Public Eye. This is the Bridge 99. It's a special kind of station, you know. First of all, because it reaches to the diaspora, the Jamaicans, specifically Jamaican lovers like Shayne Havens all over the world, Shayne Havens all over the world, doing good for the country, and also people with the Yaad blood in their veins, you know. Soon talk to Steve McDonald of Yaadmarket. I hear he's around. That's nice. And we have a caller, don't we? Yes? So morning caller. Afternoon.
Well, actually, good afternoon. Where I am. Good morning. Good morning to both of you.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. There's an idea which I actually spoke to the producer who called me. You are good friends with Mr. Irwin Clare.
Yes.
And then you speak to the usual president a number of times. That information that you need to get to Manning's Alumni Association, you can route it through
yes.
Through Irwin or even Beau-regard. What's his name? We know him as Killer
Beau-regard, man. Ciao.
Beau-regard.
a real sweet boy name, you know.
Yeah, that's such an ostentatious name.
That's a good idea, because where we have individuals who want that connection, then the Alumni Association, we want to big up the Alumni Association strongly, you know, because they do such wonderful work. You know, Pearnel and I were just reflecting. If we knew how many individuals are devoted to this country and give to to people of this country, our spirits would be much higher than they are. You know.
You're absolutely correct about that, and I say to you that Minnesotans love Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to work in the tourism industry in Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
And, I used to work for the big organization Sandals, and a lot of people from Minnesota came to Jamaica. They do love Jamaica, Minnesotans. Yeah.
Yes, good. So how you doing? How you doing now? Where are you? What part of the States?
I'm your caller from New York City.
Okay, man. Good. Yes.
Always asking me where in New York I am.
Yes.
I'm in the city.
Pearnel is an absentee New Yorker, you know.
Yeah,
No, I am one of the privileged Jamaicans who had an uncle in New York who took me on for a period of time. And I went to the City College of the City University of New York, right in Harlem.
Yeah.
Drove a cab and was privileged to come back to Jamaica and serve for 40-odd years.
Yes. Well, you know, plenty of the young people, when they hear that a minister of government drive a cab, yes, I used to be a short order cook, and I'm sorry that I must have contributed to the premature death of many of those who.
but that's not unfortunate.
Well, Rennie, you talk about that. Some of these people, when I graduated from university,
Yeah.
I was making more money driving cab than the job I could get.
Call and tell us your story.
On that topic, that's not unforeseen. You see, things in the United States, New York, is a flip side of in Jamaica. The way you view certain things in Jamaica is totally different than how they are. It's upside down because I was having a conversation with a young man I met online as a customer service rep for a company here in United States, and he's out there in Montego Bay. And we were having a conversation. I just decided to engage him about things in Jamaica and work and so forth. And this young man is an A-level student who's now working at one of these call centers. And so engage him. We're talking about skills. Mm-hmm. And to tell you how different skills are in the United States, especially in New York, than in Jamaica, and different how people can view it negatively. So you're talking, driving a cab and going to school. That is quite okay here. In a short order cook, it's quite okay. A lot of short order cooks are having good vacation in Jamaica. A lot of cab drivers have good vacation. So when you think of cab driver in Jamaica, it's different than cab driver in New York. When you think of short order cook in Jamaica, it's different than here. When you think of garbage collectors in Jamaica, and it's different.
Sanitation worker. But you see,
absolutely.
I like when you can break down social barriers, you know, and occupational barriers, and racial barriers, and class barriers, and religious barriers.
Because I wake up call when I came here, my view of a carpenter, as a mason, as well, and it's totally different now here in America because of the pay that they make and the benefits and so forth. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that makes it different is education.
Yes.
We have some steelmen in Jamaica, and I told you about them. They are class, but they cannot measure. They cannot add.
Yeah.
So, in other words, the education, you have never seen where people have a profession and there's that education that take them to that.
True. Listen,
because they learn it on the job. They're working with a man, and they learn it because it's hands-on, you know, learn like that. But quickly, actually, I called because last week I wanted to engage you about something you were talking about, and that is regarding school safety.
Okay,
I want to ask you, how do you, as someone who went to high school in Jamaica, and given the layout of schools in Jamaica, which is so different than like the layout of school in New York City because of the climate. Yeah, it's easier to handle school security like in schools in New York City because of where they are built. How do you handle school security in a place like Jamaica where the layout of a school is of such, and there's so many ways in which you can gain access to a classroom with weapons? How do you do that?
It's true. It's a difficult task. I tell you what, time has run out on us, but I'm going to make sure that we have somebody can answer that question because it's a big issue. We have to rethink the whole of it, and we have to engage many other people. Listener, we love that you listen to us. Thanks for keeping the company with us. We talk to you again soon.
You're welcome.
All the best. Good.
Bye-bye.
This is the Public Eye and the Open Mind on the Bridge 99 FM. It's 12. You want a break? Okay, soon come back. This is The Bridge, and Pearnel, Charles and I welcome Steve McDonald from Yaadmarket in Toronto. Latterly from there, originally from Lennox Big Woods in Westmoreland, am I right?
Darlington, Westmoreland.
Tell you.
Yes.
People know Darlington, you know. What brings you home? What are your impressions? Tell us how things are where you are. What you're doing.
I'm pretty good. Unfortunately, I came home for funeral of my aunt, so while that was a sad occasion, those of us in Christ know that it's still a good occasion and time to be joyful from that perspective, as the earthly pains are no more.
Sure.
So we give thanks in all things. I've been having a field day since I've been down eating the mangoes and the canes and as we call them in Westmoreland, I mean, your OTT apple up here.
Really? Yeah. No, that is language, you know. I never heard that. Name OTT apple.
I never heard that.
Yes, in Westmoreland.
No, we know Westmoreland people different, Charles.
Yes,
you come
most
from St.
definitely.
Anne, I'm a town man, although I've been trying to be a Westmoreland man.
But you have been down there, so I would say that you're
supposed to know.
An honorary Westmoreland man.
Yeah.
Him no want anybody to know him parade in Westmoreland.
Yes, but is the situation of Jamaica taking up that these multiple billions of dollars worth of opportunity for local produce in the diaspora? Is it getting any better, Steve McDonald? We have to use you as a barometer every time we talk.
Not from my perspective, and I'm hoping that through Chief Charles here, he might use his contacts and arrange something that we can speak to some of the appropriate people who can movers and shakers that can make things happen. But yeah, we still have a lot of opportunities that we're not taking advantage of. And if you're familiar with the stories of Acres of Diamond, where that man left the Acres of Diamond in his own backyard to go look for diamonds elsewhere and died doing that and didn't find any. Died a pauper when he had it in his own backyard. I think there are a lot of tremendous opportunity in agriculture that we're not taking advantage of.
What are some of the products? What are some of the things that people will buy in Toronto and perhaps elsewhere that you're familiar with the markets? I want you to be as specific and broad as possible.
So pretty much all the grown provisions, specific yams, and just to mention, like with the yam, and those that we're taking advantage of, we're pricing ourselves out of the market.
Pricing ourselves out of the market.
Yes. So a piece of yam, yellow yam from Jamaica, weight. A friend just did it and showed me $40 for the piece that they had. They got
one piece of yam.
40 Canadian dollars.
Yes.
I thought you talk a donkey load, no?
40 Canadian dollars for that piece of yam.
Yeah.
The same weight for an African white yam is $7 Canadian.
Oh no, we can't. No, not even the marvelous superior quality of yellow yam.
So
can't cover
the
that
person told me
difference.
that they have to cut and carve, so they take a little piece for a special occasion, put it back up in the fridge, and for their day-to-day, they will get the African yams. And even supermarkets are moving away from the Jamaicans, not supermarkets, Jamaican restaurants are limiting the amount of Jamaican, especially yams that they're buying because it's so expensive.
Oy, oy. So yams is one thing, but
so
you have to fix
yams,
that
breadfruit, mangoes, but a breadfruit sells for about $10 to $15 Canadian. So that's about what, $1,200 more or less. Yeah, about $1,250 or to $1,500 Jamaican. Mangoes for sure. Coconut. Well, the coconut, we're getting coconuts which are labeled Jamaican coconut, but they're from Costa Rica.
Yeah, that is such a
right?
Tell Pearnel Jr. Getting coconuts labeled Jamaica, but coming from Costa Rica.
June plum. We're getting Jamaican onions too. Jamaican scallions.
Yeah.
And pumpkins. Some of the pumpkins. I'm giving you what is labeled as Jamaica, not necessarily what is coming from Jamaica. Avocado. In terms of some of the other things that we haven't really touched is, and sweet potato, of course. In some of the other things that we haven't really touched is dasheen leaf. That is being sold a lot there.
What's that? Dasheen leaf?
Dasheen leaf. Hello, the market is wide from what I gather. You can.
Is that for consumption?
I'm not
for packing or something.
No, I think the Africans, they use it, and also banana leaf too. I think they use it in their dietary, in their cooking. Yeah. So yes, it's for consumption, not for packaging.
No, certainly the dasheen leaf. I hear all stinking toe and tamarind can sell.
Stinking toe and tamarinds, and they have different.
I haven't seen that one for a long time.
Yeah, they have different variation of tamarind too. You even have a sweet tamarind, which I didn't know of until I go up there. Yeah. So pretty much. Yes, thinking toe. You're correct. You're correct.
They call it thinking toe.
You see what happened? Rev is from uptown, Rev is from town. I'm a countryman. So me know that, but I just want to. Probably I said thinking toe, him wouldn't know. But yeah.
Ronnie is an all-rounder, man.
Yeah, he's an all-rounder in his latter days.
Yes. You don't know.
but listen, no, but seriously, no. Here we have. Look, gentlemen.
Coconut water too.
The tourism industry is bouncing back nicely, we hope, but the retention money from that is still limited. The remittances, thank God for them, nearly $3 billion a year, but that is grace and favor for the most part. The bauxite, as far as I'm concerned, is a dwindling asset, okay? And here we have this remarkable market all over the world. Tell me if it's just an ethnic market or can be a crossover market. If only we put our heads together and deal with our own food security and our export security. Steve McDonald, Pearnel Charles, tell me how.
Well, it right now is an ethnic market. We haven't crossed over. We haven't crossed over because we're not producing enough to be able to cross
but
over.
Because we're not producing enough. Okay. But even then, we have only Jamaicans, sir, living in the tri-state area and in Canada where Irie Jam, beyond where Irie Jam can reach. So plenty more could go even before
Most
the
definitely.
crossover.
Most definitely.
Aye.
We have as I said, we had coconut in the shell in terms of regular coconut, and then we also have coconut water. And ironically, we started the coconut water industry. However, we could not consistently maintain the supply, and we lost it. We lost it to DR. So there is
Dominican Republic.
Yes, we
had a problem with coconut, and we have not been able to solve the yellow leaf here. Thousands and thousands of trees.
But we can't get through with some of that, though. Pearnel. We could do better.
Well. In everything, there's a better, but there is a problem that
I understand that, and we have to
it's like when we had bananas,
right,
and we had that banana that was wiped out,
right,
and you come with several other kind of bananas,
right,
robustas, that.
So, what would be the best advice that you returning resident?
We need to assess. We need to assess the market from a government perspective, see what the demand is, and we need to create orchards. We need to create orchards and put orchards in place in terms of different products. And whether we're going to do that in one particular, start with one product type first and then move along. I take, for example, mangoes. When we supply, I think I've mentioned this before, when we send mangoes to New York, there is none coming into Toronto. There is none going to UK. When we send it to UK and you see it in a Gleaner, there is none in Toronto, there is none in New York. So we need to really assess the market and then know what the demand is, and then at least for ethnic buyers, and then we can also do that crossover. We need to create orchards so we have consistent, regular supplies.
Yes.
Well, you are right, and I will tell you, I remember when Audley was Minister of Agriculture, that the mango thing had come up, and even green. And I said to young Charles the other day, he said he's worried about having too much rain and nothing, or no rain and nothing. And I said, but what you have just said, if we can get people to come and organize it. Too many Jamaicans feel have been robbed. People go down to Trelawney and take man round leaf here, man, don't see them again.
Right.
Take them put on and don't see them again.
Right.
It has to be properly managed.
Yes.
And I don't know if government don't want to come into the free enterprise thing.
Right.
However, it has to be properly managed that Canada get their share.
Right.
Not just dump it in Manhattan
correct.
and in New York. And that's
and the buyers from abroad, I was going to say the Canadian, but the buyers from abroad are saying they too are being robbed.
Yeah.
Because I've spoken to people who said that they've sent down money to get supplies,
Yeah,
and what they get, they want to use and feed them hog.
That is one of the biggest
Right.
problems. You always have my
Right.
father called the general in the middle.
Right. So when I said government, it was just to for them to create that organizational structure. To say, because right now no one has any, the local farm and the goods don't know what the stats are, don't have any idea in terms of how much yam we should be producing.
Right.
They don't know what the market is at the back end.
Right.
So they're actually going in to produce blindly.
Let me.
And that the persons are not coming to buy all the while.
That is
A man
correct.
just come and say, take a truckload
What I
and
need,
don't come back.
what we need is a local yard market. Which is no, seriously, which is a linkage with you and your type, yes? We're in the diaspora, but which is coordinating local supplies, stimulating it, giving the kind of connectivity between site of production, site of processing, export, and marketing that we don't have now. I hope maybe you'll be able to...
But isn't that rather a jam pro?
Ronnie, we had this big marketing house on Spanish Town Road.
We left it off.
AMC?
What has happened to it?
Oddly promised to resuscitate it every year
Listen,
for about
I
10
have to
days.
tell you something. We are good starters, but we are not good finishers.
Steve McDonald.
And the thing is there, it's ready.
Yeah.
You are ready to move in.
Yeah.
The journalist in the middle.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah, well,
thieving from over
Chief,
there.
I hope you can help to
we have to smooth
broker
that out.
meeting with yourself
Yeah.
and your
Yes.
number one.
Yes.
We'll
And we
to
can
do
have
that.
a really heart-to-heart chat.
Well, this is where what we love on
And
the
create a bridge.
This is what we love to do on the bridge, which is in fact to make the kind of connection. First, theoretically, conceptually, but then nail it down very, very practically.
Yes.
And for that, we're most grateful for your company.
And thank you very
Steve
much.
McDonald of Yaadmarket, Pearnel Charles, a redoubtable public servant and fixer of things on the public eye on the Bridge 99. Thanks to everybody who has made today's program, particularly reaching out to Shayne Havens, president of the Josephine Lilly Wolf Memorial Scholarship Foundation, lifting the hearts and spirits of Jamaicans and Jamaican lovers all over the world. We give way to the one and only Nikki Z and her exciting music, even as we invite
we
you
say
to...
goodbye to New York.
Oh,
New York.
of course, and our friends in New York. Beau-regard.
Yes, sir.
But you have to set up a marketing organization. It's called Yaadmarket in New York. You can make
good.
extra money. Thanks
Yeah,
for
man.
your company. Join you next week on The Public Eye. Till
You
then,
gentlemen, take care.
Right, man. Thanks a lot.